Hello everyone, welcome to another short video by Glasshammer Gaming. I'm Manny and today I'm just going to walk you through the brand new Eldar Warlord traits and which ones are better than the others. If you haven't already guys, hit that subscribe button and notifications bell just in the corner over there so you know each time we release one of these videos. And if you enjoy the content and you'd like more exclusive content, additional battle reports every week and amazing discounts off our web store, or if you love what we do here and you'd just like to support the channel, then please head over to glasshammergaming.co.uk and join the elite. Right, let's get straight into it then. So new Eldar Warlord traits, brand new codex has come out. It's the Aeldari book. So this is Asuryani Warlord traits we're talking about today. And next week there's going to be quite a few things about Harlequins because they're also very cool. But today we're going to talk about the Asuryani Warlord traits. So I'm going to run you through them, and then I'm going to let you know which ones I think are slightly better than others and things like that. So we start off pretty simple. Now, the first thing to know is none of these like blow you away immediately. Like none of them are like super obvious. Oh, this is going to be super busted and broken or anything like that. Nothing's like a clear standout gonna do absolutely incredible, but they're fairly good. So it's like a balance because like some codexes, you look at them and you go, oh, this warlord trait is way better than the rest. That's one you're gonna take. Forget all the others. They're not even that good. It's not like that because yeah, they're not like one's not absolutely brutal, but there's like 3 or 4 that are like, oh, okay, you could choose between these, so you could take a couple, and just go that way. So let's start. The first one is Ambush of Blades. So basically, your warlord chooses a craftable core or character unit within 9 inches of himself in the command phase, and each time they make a melee attack, you improve the AP characteristic of that attack by 1. So for example, if they've got a load of -1 AP attacks, like striking scorpions, for example, or something like that, then they become like -2 AP. So, you got these units that pump out a lot of attacks, Howling Banshees, striking scorpions, all of these kind of units, Wraith Blades now as well. They pump out so many attacks, and to up the AP of every single attack in combat by 1 is actually a fairly decent ability, And we always say like force multipliers are usually like the best abilities. Either something that's going to go, this character is going to be absolutely incredible at outputting damage, or absolutely incredibly survivable, or oh, he's going to make the rest of my army good. Those are like the normal ones that you kind of want to go with. And this one, Ambush of Blades, is like a force multiplier. You pick a unit and it makes them even better. And if you put this, if you put this on something like a Farseer, and a Farseer casts Guide, say on that Striking Scorpion or Howling Banshee or Wraithblade unit, because Guide works in combat now as well. So you cast Guide on that unit, they've got rerolls to hit, and then you increase the AP, of them by 1, because your Warlord is a Farseer who's got the Ambush of Blades, So he guides a unit, increases their AP in combat, and sends them in to go and do some damage, which I think is really good. So they go in there, not only do they have a load of attacks, they've now got full rerolls to hit. And if you make them Bealtan, for example, then they can get exploding 6s to hit as well. So full rerolls to hit, exploding 6s to hit, and then improving the AP of all of their attacks by 1. Solid force multiplier. So I quite like that one. Obviously, it's not like super broken, but it's just a very good ability to have in your back pocket. So I like Ambush of Blades. It's a good one. Then you've got the Walker of the Many Paths. Now this one, once per turn, you can reroll 1 hit roll, 1 wound roll, or 1 damage roll for this warlord. This one, I don't really see very many people using this at all, to be honest with you. I mean, if it was like a psychic test or something like that you could do, then fair enough. Or if it was 1 hit, 1 wound, and 1 damage roll, you could reroll 1 of all of them, then fair enough. But having a warlord trait that might give you a reroll to hit, or it might give you a reroll and a damage roll, maybe once or twice in the game, I think that's a proper waste of a warlord trait. So Walker of the Many Paths is not one that I expect to be seeing in a lot of competitive armies. Then we've got, what does that say? Falcon Swiftness. Sorry guys, I couldn't read it from all the way over there. So we've got Falcon Swiftness. That is the third one. Quite like this one. You add 2 to the move characteristic of your warlord, and they don't suffer the difficult ground depreciation or defect from going through like forests and stuff like that. So they're not -2 to move through there, and they get +2 to their move characteristic as well. So they just get quicker. And the thing I really like about it is when this warlord battle focuses, it's always 6 inches. You don't roll a dice. You treat it as always being a 6, which I think is absolutely fantastic. You know, you can have a character, give him some, you know, load him out with like guns and stuff like that, maybe a relic gun or something like that, and he's kind of like going out there, moving a little bit further than everyone else, getting good positions, shooting, and then automatically moving 6 inches after shooting and hiding again. So I think that one's going to be pretty nice on either somebody who does damage on their own or a character that's used for buffing others. So it might be a character that needs to move the +2 to keep up with the unit he's buffing, and then like shoot a shuriken pistol or something, and then he can run 6 inches back and hide again. So I think it's going to be important for a character that's like supporting other units in your army. Then you've got Fate's Messenger. Once per turn, when a saving throw is failed for this warlord, change the damage of that attack to 0. Now this, unless you're going to be taking a combat character, I think this again is pretty, you know, like circumstantial. I don't think it's going to be in the core of most lists, in my opinion. So I don't think Fate's Messenger is that great. I mean, if you've got a combat beast and that combat beast is going in, the first time he fails a save, every turn you change the damage characteristic of that attack to 0. That's pretty damn good. But if you're going to have a combat character, surely he's going to want like a bit more of a combat warlord trait and a combat relic, you know, things that work together to make him good. So I think putting that survivability on him, I don't think it's that necessary, to be honest with you. Then we've got Mark of the Incomparable Hunter. That one's pretty cool as well. So it works for ranged attacks. Each time the warlord makes a ranged attack, you add 1 to the strength characteristic of that ranged attack, and every 6 that you roll to wound inflicts a mortal wound in addition to damage. So that's pretty damn cool. So imagine you've got a Tempest launcher on Alatark now, and he's got like 2d6 shots out of line of sight, and then he's upping the strength of all of those shots by 1. And we all know how powerful out of line of sight shooting is. So imagine if he's doing that, upping the strength of it by 1, and then also every 6 he's rolling to wound is inflicting a mortal wound. I think that's a really good warlord trait on a character that you're going to use to snipe things out, you know, pick off little units and stuff like that. So I think it's fantastic for something like that. I quite like that one. And then we're on to the final generic one, and that is Seer of the Shifting Vector. That used to be the best one before, because Seer of the Shifting Vector used to give you 1 reroll to cast. Like, it was like a hit, a wound, a save, or a cast or something like that. And you used to reroll your casts every turn, which was really cool. Now, it's a 6+ CP regen. So each time you or your opponent spends a CP, you roll a dice for each CP that you spent, and on a 6, you get 1 back. Of course, only 1 per battle round, but I think that the army likes its stratagems, and they're quite cool, and they will be covered in another video as well, the stratagems. But because the army likes the strats, it wants its CPs, and it wants to be able to use those CPs quite reliably. So getting some of them back can be fairly good. And this is what I meant, guys. So, you know, like, we've gone through the list there, and only really like Walker of the Many Paths and Fate's Messenger that we've gone, I can't really see a place for them really. But Ambusher Blades, Falcon Swiftness, Mark of the Incomparable Hunter, Seer of the Shifting Vector, they're all fairly good. Not insane, like we were saying before, but they're fairly good. So, you know, you've got a good choice there to mix and match and put some different abilities in your army, and I think they're pretty damn good. But that's the generic Eldar Warlord traits. That's fine, right? We've covered those, and we know which ones are cool, which ones are not so cool. But I do want to talk about the specific ones, the Craft World specific Warlord traits as well. Let's have a quick look at them. So on to the Craft World specific Warlord traits. We start off, we're going to go in the order. We start off with Alatark. Alatark was first there. And their Warlord trait is Master of Ambush. It's fairly decent, actually. In your command phase, you can pick an infantry core unit, infantry core Alatark unit within 9 inches, and that unit can shoot and still perform actions without the actions failing, which I think is very good. You know, you're going to want to do like Retrieve Nocteri's data, Raise the Banners. Those secondaries have traditionally been great for Asuryani, and I think they're going to continue to be great for Asuryani. So being able to do those actions and still shooting with your ranged weapons without those actions failing, I think is pretty big. I would, you know, consider taking that Warlord trait just for that section, because that's you know, reliability in your list, which guarantees you points in competitive games. So I would possibly take it just for that, but it's got another ability, and this one's great. You can redeploy one Alatark Ranger unit at the start of the first turn, but before the start of the first battle round, before the first turn begins. So after you've rolled off to see who goes first, you can redeploy one of your Ranger units, and they can be, you know, like deployed forward, like infiltrating, like they normally do. So 9 inches away from the enemy deployment zone and models. So what you could do, for example, you could have a unit of Rangers deployed reservedly, like in your deployment zone somewhere and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, your opponents won that roll off and they're going first, and they've got some units that can do pre-game moves. You can redeploy that unit. So you roll off, then you can redeploy that unit, pick it up, and put it down 9 away from your opponent's line, and all of a sudden, their pre-game moves are nullified. So that's quite a good Warlord trait, I would say. That's Master of Ambush, and it's the Alatark one. Then we've got the Ulthwé one. The Ulthwé one's called Fate's Reader, and basically after making a Strands of Fate roll, you can choose to retain 1 additional dice. So basically when you do your Strands of Fate, what you're doing is you're rolling 6d6. You roll 6 dice, and then in a Strike Force size game, which is what most competitive games are, you get to keep 4 of those dice. But now you can keep an extra one, so you can keep 5 dice if you'd like to. That's fairly good because the Strands of Fate are your super buff, and they are insanely powerful. We are going to explain what they do in another video, another short video that will come up next week. But the Strands of Fate are very, very important, so that Warlord trait could be considering if you're an Ulthwé lover. Then we're on to Simhan, and their one's called the Wild Rider Chieftain. Now this, I think, it only works if you're going to have a combat character. It basically gives your character +1 attack and the ability to hurriedly intervene 6 inches. Now Simhan units can fall back and charge, and Simhan units also have like a stratagem to be able to advance and charge with a biker unit and stuff like that. So you're going to want this on like an Autark on a bike. But basically having +1 attack and heroically intervening 6 inches, when you've got those other abilities that help you with charging and stuff, I think you could make a decent Simhan combat character. But I think it's only if you're going to go Simhan specific. I think some of the other generic Warlord traits are still probably better suited for your army because they're force multipliers, whereas this guy just cares about himself, and +1 attack is probably not that big. Then you've got the Iandan one, which is Enduring Resolve. Now, basically, each time the Warlord loses a wound on a 5, you roll a d6 on a 5+, that wound is not lost. Essentially, he's got a 5 up, feel no pain. Now, if you could put that on something like a Wraith Lord, that'd be really cool. I think there are character Wraith Lords in the Forge World book, and maybe you can put that on one of them, and that'd be pretty damn cool. But on like a Spirit Seer or something, I don't think it's going to be that big. I mean, unless there are some really good buffs in the Iandan section that affect like Wraith constructs, and you really need that Spirit Steer to stay alive as long as possible, then you just put the Enduring Resolve on him and it increases survivability. If he's a big force multiplier with his other abilities, then you would 100% take this. But if he's not that important, I don't see any reason to be taking this Warlord trait. So it literally all depends on if that character is a good force multiplier for your army. And then the final one is the Biel-Tan one. And personally, I think this is the best Warlord trait in the Asuryani section, the whole of it, and it's Biel-Tan specific, and it's called Natural Leader. So in your command phase, your Warlord can choose a Biel-Tan unit, Biel-Tan core unit within 6 inches of himself, and until the end of the turn. That's important to know as well. It's not until your next command phase, it's until the end of the turn. Each time a model in that unit makes an attack, you can re-roll the hit roll. So you're essentially giving them Chapter Master re-rolls. Full re-rolls to hit on one Biel-Tan core unit within 6 inches of them at the start of the command phase. Now, you know, we've seen loads of combos where things like Hive Guard have been given full re-rolls and they're absolutely incredible. Admech have been given full re-rolls on a unit and they're absolutely incredible. We've seen from past, just the ability to have full re-rolls to hit is such a great force multiplier and makes units so much more reliable at killing what you need them to, especially when you can take powers like Doom in this army. You could be shooting at something with Doom on them and all of a sudden you've got full rerolls to hit and full rerolls to wound with Doom. And then what's big as well is you've got Guide and this Warlord trait in your army. You've got 2 units with full rerolls to hit, and that I think is amazing bang for your buck. So there you have it, guys. That is all of the Warlord traits in the Asuryani section, the generic ones and the craft world specific ones. We've gone through which ones are great, which ones are not so great, and we've come to the conclusion that Biel-Tan is probably the best Warlord trait that you can take overall. So have a look into the different craft worlds, guys, and also please let me know in the comments below if you guys have got any ideas. This is the first time I've read through this book, so I've just picked up on a couple of things quickly. But if you guys also have some opinions, please leave them in the comments below for everybody to try them out and grow together. And like I say, guys, if you watched this far and you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button, notifications bell in the corner over there so you know each time we release one of these videos. And if you enjoy the content and you would like more exclusive content, additional battle reports weekly, and great discounts off our web store, or if you love what we just do here and you'd like to support the channel, then please head over to glasshammergaming.co.uk and click Join the Elite, and join the Elite today. But there you have it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video and I hope you've learned as much from it as I have writing it. I think I think there's quite a lot of things in this Eldar book that are very good. And yeah, guys, remember, there's a battle report coming out tomorrow with the new Eldar. It's Dan's brand new Eldar army against my brand new Farsight Enclaves based army. So that's a very, very cool game, and that gets released tomorrow. And then there is a Asuryani Relics video coming out on Saturday. So enjoy the content for the rest of the week, guys, and stay safe. Bye. Edited Warhammer 40k battle reports, live stream Warhammer 40k games, meta-analysis, tournament reports. Hi guys, I'm Manny. I am one of the co-founders of Glasshammer Gaming. I'm one of the current top 5 ranked ITC players in the world, and I play for my international team, Team England, and we are the current reigning world champions. So we started Glasshammer Gaming at the start because we play a very high level, and we realized that a lot of content creators online were more narrative and not really focused on the competitive aspect of the game. And we thought it'd be really cool if we made battle reports, live streams and tactics videos to help players improve in their competitive game, and also for people who are looking to start getting into competitive play, help them along the way and give them some tips. We also have an elite service, and if you join up, you get more in-depth meta-analysis, competitive tournament reports, and even bigger discounts on our store, which are incredible in the first place, and you're basically getting some of the best discounts in the world. If you join up, you also get access to our Discord server, where there are lots of like-minded people who also want to be very competitive and play to the best of their ability, and you'll be added in there with all of them. There are different channels for every army, every faction, so you can talk to other players who play the same armies as you and improve together.